The lights of Paris shimmered brighter than ever, but that night, none shone as luminously as Kim Taehyung, better known to the world as V of BTS. The fashion capital stood still in awe as Taehyung walked through the gilded halls of the Celine fashion show, where history was quietly, yet powerfully, rewritten. The victory that followed wasn't just his. It was a defining moment for an entire nation that has long dreamed of seeing its artistry recognized on the grandest of global stages. From the first moment Taehyung arrived in Paris, it was as if the city itself had been waiting for him. The air at Le Bourget airport felt charged with anticipation. Cameras flashed, fans screamed, and journalists rushed to capture every frame of his calm, yet commanding presence. Dressed in Celine's latest collection, black velvet, minimalist yet regal, Taehyung didn't just attend the show, he embodied it. The audience hadn't yet realized they were about to witness the birth of a new icon, one who would redefine what it means to be a global fashion figure. When Taehyung entered the venue, every eye turned. The elite of fashion, designers, editors, critics, and celebrities found themselves momentarily silenced. His aura was different. It wasn't loud, it was magnetic. Without uttering a word, Taehyung commanded attention. When the Celine creative director himself approached to greet him personally, the entire press row knew something monumental was happening. As the show progressed, whispers began to ripple through the audience. Every time Taehyung was mentioned, heads turned, conversations halted. It was as though his presence had transcended the boundaries of celebrity. He was not just a guest, he was the soul of the night. And then came the moment that would send waves through the fashion world. Celine's head designer publicly acknowledged Taehyung as the living embodiment of modern elegance. The announcement was followed by thunderous applause. Cameras clicked furiously. Social media exploded within minutes. Hashtags like hashtag Taehyung at Celine, hashtag V in Paris, and hashtag Fashion Icon V trended globally. For the first time, a Korean artist had not only been recognized but celebrated as a defining face of Parisian haute couture. Taehyung, ever humble, smiled softly, bowed, and whispered his gratitude. But behind that serene demeanor was the weight of history being lifted, a silent, powerful triumph for Korea on the global stage. That night, as champagne glasses clinked and the afterparty began, Taehyung remained the center of the universe. Fashion editors from Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, and Elle surrounded him, each eager to capture his thoughts. But true to his nature, Taehyung spoke less and expressed more through his quiet grace. Fashion, he said simply, is a feeling. It's about how you live, not just what you wear. Those words echoed across social platforms, quoted by fans and professionals alike, and soon became the night's unofficial mantra. The next morning, Paris woke to find Taehyung's face on nearly every major newspaper and magazine cover. Headlines hailed him as Celine's crown muse, the new definition of global style, and the Korean star who conquered Paris. For many, this wasn't just a story about fashion. It was a story of identity, artistry, and cultural pride. Taehyung's presence had reshaped how the world perceived Korean creativity, proving that talent and elegance transcend borders. Back in Seoul, the impact was immediate. News outlets ran live segments celebrating his achievement. Fans flooded streets near HYB headquarters with congratulatory banners. Messages of pride poured in from artists, designers, and even political figures. The narrative was clear. Kim Taehyung had done what no one else had, bridged the cultural gap between East and West through sheer authenticity. The heart of this global frenzy was something deeper. Taehyung's triumph wasn't born from chasing trends or seeking validation. It came from staying true to himself. Throughout his journey, he had always favored simplicity over extravagance, emotion over perfection. His approach to fashion mirrored his approach to art, genuine, vulnerable, and effortlessly magnetic. And that authenticity was what Paris, and the world, fell in love with. As critics analyzed the event, many agreed that Celine's partnership with Taehyung marked a turning point. It wasn't merely a collaboration, it was a cultural dialogue. Celine, a house rooted in European tradition, had found in Taehyung a modern muse who blended global elegance with Korean sensibility. He wears the clothes, but somehow the clothes also wear him, one critic wrote. That balance, that unspoken poetry, is what makes him unforgettable. Even the designer behind Celine admitted during a post-show interview that Taehyung's influence went beyond aesthetics. He brings emotion into fashion, the designer said. When he walks into a room, you don't just see beauty, you feel it. That's what fashion should be. Online, armies across continents turned the night into a virtual celebration. Fan edits, artwork, and tributes flooded the internet. Many wrote emotional messages about how Taehyung's success felt personal, like watching a brother, a dreamer, a symbol of hope rise to global heights. One fan wrote, "It's not just Taehyung winning. It's every young Korean artist who dreams of being seen and respected." But even amidst the global hysteria, Taehyung remained grounded. He was later photographed strolling quietly through Paris's Montmartre district, coffee in hand, wearing a simple beige coat and that familiar gentle smile. Locals who spotted him described how polite and unassuming he was, a star who doesn't act like one, they said. That duality, confidence on stage, humility off it, was perhaps what made his victory resonate so deeply. Behind the scenes, insiders revealed that Celine had extended an exclusive offer to Taehyung, one that went beyond ambassadorship. Rumors swirled that he would be the centerpiece of Celine's upcoming international campaign, a move that would cement his status as a global fashion leader. Though neither side confirmed it officially, the whispers were enough to ignite a new wave of excitement. In the following weeks, fashion commentators continued dissecting the significance of Taehyung's Parisian triumph. Many argued that his success represented the dawn of a new era, one where Asian artists aren't just participants but trendsetters in global luxury culture. Korean media hailed him as the pride of the nation, while international outlets described him as the bridge between two worlds. Every photograph from that night told a story. Taehyung's sharp jawline illuminated by the Parisian chandeliers, the subtle tilt of his head, the confident yet serene gaze. Everything about him seemed crafted for history. It was not the manufactured glamour of fame, but the effortless presence of someone who belongs, utterly and completely, in the moment. Fans later discovered that the jacket Taehyung wore had been personally selected by the creative director weeks in advance, tailored exclusively for him. "We wanted something that reflected his duality, strength and softness," said an anonymous stylist from the team. The symbolism wasn't lost on anyone. That jacket became an emblem of his night, representing both his individuality and his connection to Celine's timeless vision. As the fashion world buzzed, luxury brands took notice. Insiders whispered that several high-end labels began competing behind the scenes to secure future collaborations with him. From Paris to Milan, from Tokyo to New York, Taehyung's name became synonymous with the future of fashion. One fashion executive even described him as a global brand in human form. Back home, fans replayed every video, every photograph from that evening. Some cried, some smiled, and many simply stared in awe. The boy who once sang softly in a small room had now stood tall in one of the world's most exclusive circles, and he did it without losing himself. That, perhaps, was his greatest victory of all. The interviews that followed, Taehyung remained characteristically modest. When asked how it felt to make history, he simply said, "I'm grateful. I just wanted to express who I am." Those words encapsulated the entire spirit of his journey. Humble, sincere, yet profoundly powerful. The world didn't just fall in love with what he wore, it fell in love with who he was. Months later, when Celine released its official campaign photos featuring Taehyung, the internet erupted again. The images, shot in both black and white and soft amber tones, captured the raw essence of his persona. His gaze was intense yet gentle, his presence almost cinematic. Every frame radiated authenticity, artistry, and emotion. Critics declared it one of the most memorable campaigns of the decade. From that moment, there was no denying it. Taehyung had changed fashion forever. He was no longer just a muse. He was a movement. His influence rippled through the industry, inspiring designers to embrace authenticity and emotional storytelling.